Once again, this is Nhoie's case. CASE is an acronym meaning clarifying and simplifying English. This is another learning adventure under the Academia Gonzaga systems, and I am Mentor Nhoie saying, it is easier to make easy things hard and harder to make hard things easy. That is why today we will endeavor to make a hard term appear easy. Our term of the day is endemic, spelled Endemic. Endemic. To enhance our thoughts, let us first uncover a gem found in Psalm 91, verses 10 and 11. It says, "No harm will come to you, no sickness will come near your house, for God will put his angels in charge of you to protect you in all your ways." Yes, God's promise is always for us to be safe, that if we will stay in his presence, he will always protect us, no matter how dangerous and hard that situation may be. The question is, can we promise to stay in God's domain all the time? Well, that is a great challenge to our human tendencies. So, what is endemic? What is endemic? Let us first check the origin of this word. The word endemic can be historically associated with an ancient Greek word which is endemos. In, spelled letter E and N, is translated in English as inside, and demos is translated in English as people. So if you will etymologically define endemic as a word, it will have this construct: the inside people, or the native people, or the people in a certain place. Merriam-Webster defined endemic as an outbreak of a disease that is restricted or peculiar to a locality or a region or a country. Well, let us first logically set up a process that leads to an endemic. Number one, there should be a disease that will trigger an outbreak. Number two, the outbreak should either have reached a regional transmission or an inter-country transmission or an intercontinental transmission in some cases. Number three, after the outbreak will be controlled, the disease will not still leave the area, but its occurrence now is not an outbreak anymore, but just a disease staying with the people in that area. Number four, then this disease will coexist with the identified area for a long period of time. And number five, when the region or the specific population basically live with the disease of which there is still visible effects of such disease, but morbidity and mortality is already controlled. Well, this is now a state that the outbreak or the disease is now settling as an endemic state. Again, it is an endemic already. To have a clearer and a more practical view of an endemic state, let us consider the case of COVID-19, the most well-known disease of today. First, COVID-19 started as an epidemic in Wuhan, China. Then it spread within the specific region or regional area in China. Epidemic is a state wherein there is already an outbreak, but the coverage is still in a locality or in a regional scope. This was not controlled. Unfortunately, travelers went in and out of Wuhan, China, and eventually the virus spread from China to other countries by virtual human travel. So the Western countries and the Asian countries and other far-flung countries in the world were reached by this disease or this outbreak. Months after this uncontrolled movement of people, COVID-19 cases were already located outside of China. Then the global outbreak happened, which is called a pandemic. After 2 years of battling with the pandemic, health responses, medical modernization, and researches resulted to the deeper understanding of the characteristics of SARS-CoV virus, the causative virus of COVID-19, and countries have shown successes in controlling the spread and virulence or strength of the virus. This condition is still present that we have now, or what I'm trying to say is this condition is still present and we still have it now. So the question is, have we contained already COVID in a certain regional or localized area or system? The answer is not yet. We still have sporadic increases from around the globe. We still see waves of sudden cases, waves of sudden increases in countries that may have declared control over this pandemic already. In short, the attempt to regionalize or localize the viral outbreak is still continuing, and the perception that we are now living with the virus for longer period of time is still in its infancy stage. Yes, we are in the direction of pursuing COVID-19 from a qualified pandemic state or global outbreak to an endemic state by each of the affected nations or regions or localities. Reaching the endemic state is always having a fallback occurrence and sizable delay because of the still mutating virus. So the question is, have the world reached the point of considering COVID-19 as an endemic disease, an endemic outbreak? The answer is, the world is in that direction and traveling in that direction, but has not still reached that destination. Is there a hope that COVID-19 will become an endemic disease soon? The answer is yes. Seeing influenza as an example, this is another kind of viral infection. Yes, one day soon, when science and research catch up with COVID, like influenza, endemic state will surely happen. As guided by the influenza experience, influenza, or commonly called flu, is a respiratory illness caused by seasonal influenza viruses that spread throughout the population each year. Although the flu is endemic, the viruses mutate frequently and are responsible for new seasonal flu strains every year in a certain locality or a certain region. Research shows that the influenza virus has been an endemic part of human life in many localities for at least 500 years already. Today, about 8% of the global population becomes sick with an influenza virus each year. The flu virus spreads via small droplets when infected people talk, cough, or sneeze. But what is noticeable is humanity already thrived and lived with the virus for a long period of time. COVID can be contaminated like this, and we are hoping that we can live with it if it will become endemic already. This is our dream, that one day soon we will wake up with COVID already not a global health threat, but an endemic that will remind us to take good care of our health. To summarize our learning, let us not always forget that there will be no endemic state if there will be no occurrence of an outbreak that may become an epidemic, of which if uncontained will result into a pandemic. After this state is reached, science and health research will settle down and eventually uncover the virus or the disease that caused the outbreak. From then on, research and evidence-based health protocols and solutions will be adopted that eventually will lessen the strength of the outbreak to a point that it will only become a part of society threat to our daily lives. With this point, or if this point is reached, let us be aware that such a point is already called an endemic. Today, we have clarified and simplified the term endemic. To end, let me share a quotation authored by Israel Moore Ayevor. This person is one of my favorite inspirational authors. And in his book, he said, intellectual death is endemic in areas where people are unprepared to obtain new information for development, of which learning is a way to staying alive. Yes, Ivor is correct. We will never progress through the endemic state if the people of the world, or in this world of health and research, will stop their evidence based intellectual response to this present global holocaust. This is still Mentor Nhoie Gonzaga, and you are learning with us in Nhoie's case, wherein case stands for clarifying and simplifying English. This is still a program under Academia Gonzaga Systems, and we believe that it is easier to make easy things hard and harder to make hard things easy. At this moment, we have simplified and clarified a complicated term which is frequently used today. Thus, it's time to rest our case. Have a clarified and simplified day to all.